welcome to Interboro Today. In the studio with me now is Mr. Jack Lefkowicz. He is a science teacher at Interboro High School. He has an interest in music, such as the guitar he's just been playing. He's been playing for nearly 20 years, and we invited Mr. Jack Lefkowicz to share some information about the guitars as a musical instrument. Mr. Lefkowicz, Dave, how you doing? How long did it take you to learn how to play the guitar?
3 lessons, and I was off. And it took, seriously, I had 3 lessons, which was about all that my parents could afford. I learned how to read 3 strings. I think they were the 3 lower ones. I don't really remember. Never really learned to read very well. After that, it was all pickup. So I don't, as for how long it took, I guess about a year before I was top box office material.
I see. Okay, what's the difference between a acoustical and electric guitar, such as that one?
An electric guitar can be an acoustical also, but generally speaking, an electric guitar such as this is really not made to give out any sound unless amplified. Okay, it must be amplified. In this case, you can see the design is essentially not a sound box design. That is to say, it's got a flat body and just not made to resonate much sound. In fact, without an amplifier at all, it sounds as though a bunch of rubber bands were strung on a cigar box. Okay, it's very little sound comes from it. An acoustic guitar is made so that it can reflect sound waves from within its own body. So they're normally much thicker. They'll have a hole, or sometimes 2 F-holes, to allow sound to come out of resonance cavity, which is the actual body of the guitar. They can be amplified. You can attach a pickup, which is one of these things that picks up energy from the strings and converts it to electricity, back to sound through the amplifier. But in any event, you can add this to an acoustic guitar. Most acoustic guitars are loud enough that you don't need to add amplification. Yeah. These you must.
I see. Can you describe the parts of that guitar?
Yes. The body is very nice, as you can see.
Oh, yeah.
No. Take it you want something a little more technical. The body, of course, right here. This is called the neck. And on top of the neck is the fingerboard, where allegedly the fingers go to produce sound. Yes. Attached to the fingerboard, of course, are the metal frets, and by pressing the strings behind the frets, different sounds are achieved. Of course, the top of the neck is the head of the guitar, which has, well, for a 6-string guitar, you'll have 6 tuning heads, which you adjust the tension of the strings, tunings, things like that. Comes across a little thing called a nut. There are 2 nuts. One is here and one is behind the guitar. But the nut that's on the guitar is the white thing here, which the strings are strung over. And then down across the bridge, which supports the strings and adds intonation. And in this case, the strings come through the back of the guitar. This being an electric guitar, it has 2 electrical pickups. Okay, these things convert the sound of the strings into electrical energy, which then the amplifier reconstructs as musical things, hopefully. Pick guard to protect the body from being picked apart by the pick, and knobs for controlling volume, tone, and a switch to control which of those knobs you might have on. Right. Essentially, that would be it for this guitar. Acoustic guitar would not have volume control knobs or any electronic parts unless it were added to it later.
I see. Okay. In your opinion, what is the best guitar on the market?
Dave, it's hard to say which guitar would be the best, because it depends on the nature of the person playing it and what kind of guitar they like. Many players prefer a Gibson guitar. This is a Gibson. I personally don't care too much. I recently had a Fender Stratocaster. Fender making some very popular guitars, Stratocaster, Telecaster. Some of the Japanese companies, Ibanez, produce very nice guitars. There are some aluminum guitars currently being made, Travis Bean for one, and it would depend on the preference of the person. I don't think you can really say a certain guitar is the best. Martin guitars are very expensive. They're handmade, but I've heard Epiphone Epiphone acoustic guitars that sound, to my ears, equally as good for $100.
I see.
So it really depends. It's hard to say.
Okay. Where are the places that you've played, performed?
The dives, the list of dives is endless. No, seriously. I've played bars, and the last one, in fact, the last bar that I played was a place called the Shamrock down in Upper Darby, and that's one of those places that has 3 bars. and while you're playing, people are fighting and breaking beer
Yeah.
bottles in each other's faces and stuff like that. Very classy place. Throwing people outside onto the street, literally, in front of cars. Definitely a no fun place. But I've played bars, dances, and of course as JFK Stadium in 1969 when we packed the place. No, absolutely
I didn't
lie.
think so.
No, never played any place really, extensively big. But I've had a good time on the way.
I see. That's good. Where do you get the players that take care of your backup instruments?
I usually bribe them with money and
Really?
records. Yeah, no. I've been playing with Interboro students for the last, I guess, 5 or 6 years, and really it's been good because we have some excellent students. John Valerio, Nancy Orm goes to Votech, but is coming along beautifully. I'm leaving out Kevin Haggerty, excellent player. We really have some good musicians at Interboro. So I've been very fortunate as far as that goes. Last year, Joe Batista, excellent saxophone player. Just kind of jamming around and playing with people. I've enjoyed it immensely.
That's good. In your opinion now, what's the best type of guitar strings?
Ones that aren't made out of chewing gum guitar strings are very weak,
no.
very brittle. No, I don't have a preference. I have a small preference, but it doesn't matter that much. I try to get a string called La Bella, some company in some place. I think it's in Pennsylvania, manufactures them. I like La Bella, but usually if you go to a place, you'll get things like Ernie Ball strings, Fender strings, Gibson strings, things like that. And I have trouble telling the difference. The reason I prefer La Bella is because they seem to last a little longer.
I see.
Other than that, I have no preference.
Okay. What type of picks do you use to play guitars?
I use a Fender Medium. I mentioned this is a Swarthmore Music Fender Medium.
Oh, well.
But it's essentially that size. Now, there are different styles of picks. There are all different types of picks. I don't know if we can pick this up, but some picks are very large, and then there are ones smaller than this. This is medium hardness. And I get these by at least 3 or 4 at a time. No, I usually buy a box of them at a time.
I see.
And proceed to lose them all over the place because I drop them continuously. But I generally get a Fender Medium, and as I said, again, some people use thumb picks which have a hook around them. They'll attach right to your finger. And other people use large triangular ones. It depends on the person.
I see. What are they usually made out of?
Plastic now.
Just
most
plastic?
Yeah, almost all of them are made out. You can get them made out of metal. If you're a steel guitar player, you can get metal ones. Some people like metal ones because of the sound it gives. It's a kind of plinky, very metallic sound.
Yeah.
Some people like that. Other than that, it's generally almost all plastic. I don't even know if they still make tortoiseshell, which was at one time the only type
really?
of pick you could buy. Yeah.
I see. All right. What's the average wattage of your amplifier?
This is a club amplifier, which is not particularly powerful. This one is 50 watts RMS, which means 50 watts clean, at a certain frequency. And I don't know if the wattage, I don't know which counts more, the wattage or the speaker efficiency. But in this case, I said it's a club amplifier. So we're playing a fairly small place, a small room. Really won't blast you out, but it does give a good sound and has pretty good versatility for its size. They vary up to thousands and thousands of watts if you have the money, if you have the people to carry them around.
Oh, yeah.
I'm fortunate. I have my own little Marty Belden, which is a device. It's an accessory to that. When I bought that,
really?
yes, paid $10 extra and got a Marty Belden, which carries it around all the time.
Okay.
And I'm lucky that way.
That's good. All right, and finally, what type of music do you like to play the most?
Besides Pakistani dinner music.
Well, anything else besides that, I guess.
Yes, almost purely rock and roll. I played the bar mitzvah wedding circuit for, I guess a total of 2 years, which is the thing where you buy a book from the Music Union, which is like about that thick, and it has all songs like Stardust, and Melancholy Baby, and I'm Getting Sentimental Over You, and that kind of thing. And you sit there and you stand there. Usually you sit and you strum, and then they go into Hava Nagila, and you strum that, and then they go into some Irish drinking song, and you strum that. You do all that kind of thing. And it pays very well. It's very lucrative over a period of time. And once, if you're in a good band, once you start, you just continue and you roll right along. You play every weekend. It's a good gig if you like to do that. I personally can't stand the music. I can't stand to play the music. It's very boring. You get to add no individuality. You play those chords as they're written in the book, and that's it. People come up and make requests, and I don't want to answer requests, especially some of the crazy songs they want to hear usually.
Yeah.
So I've stuck pretty much to rock and roll, which has paid no money for all intents and purposes. Like I said, I've been playing with our students here at Interboro, and we've played a couple dances and occasions, and I've just enjoyed it. I only do it for the enjoyment now, not for the money at all.
I see. All right, well, that was a very informative interview we have here. Would you like to do another tune for us from Close Show?
Dave, I'd love to.
Well, go right ahead. Well, that's it for Interboro today. Thank you and good night.